The first property what you guys will learn is commutative law. See, commutative law is A dot B is equal to B dot A, correct? So in this case, A dot B is nothing but AB cos theta, correct? Now B dot A will be BA cos theta. Since multiplication is commutative, so AB cos theta is the same as BA cos theta. That means dot product is commutative. Okay. Now the second one is distributive law. So we have A dot B plus C will be equal to A dot B plus A dot C. Okay. So distributive law holds good in scalar product or dot product. Now the third thing is, now if you guys remember, we divided the vector in its components, that is I, j and k, right? So I was in the x-axis or the x component, j was the y component, and k was the z component, right? So we have I, j, k. Now what if I have just the I component? That means what if I do I dot I? See here, if you do I dot I, the value becomes 1 because the magnitude of I is 1, correct? So when you do I dot I, you are multiplying 1 into cos 0 degree. Now think about why it is 0. Because the angle between it's the same axis, right? So angle between I and I is what? 0 degree. So we have I dot I as 1 into cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So we get I dot I as 1. Similarly, j dot j and k dot k both are 1. Okay. So we can conclude saying I dot I is equal to j dot j is equal to k dot k is equal to 1. Okay. Now, what if you multiply meaning the dot product of I and j? So if you do I dot j, you get 1 into cos 90, which becomes 0. So for mutually perpendicular vectors, the dot product is 0. Okay. So that means I dot j is equal to j dot k is equal to k dot I is equal to 0. Understood? And so since we can generalize that any two mutually perpendicular vectors, if you take the dot product, then that value is 0. Okay. Now see, you have vector A. Suppose let's say vector A is given by ax into I plus ay into j plus az into k. That means we are splitting it as its components, correct? Now what if you do A dot A? That means axi plus ayj plus azk dot axi plus ayj plus azk. Now in this case, remember I dot I is 1. But apart from that, any other components you multiply with I, that will become 0, correct? So A dot A will be nothing but ax square plus ay square plus az square. Okay. Now the same thing we can do for any two vectors, that is if you are doing A dot B also. Okay. Now this part is very important, that is when you multiply A dot A or A dot B, because this is what we will be using for problems. Okay. So these are certain properties of a scalar product. So make sure you memorize them properly because the rest of the chapter will be using these properties.